right, Guardians. Well, we've got another article here. Let's see if we can get through it in relatively quick succession here. Dev Insights, Weapons, Artifacts, and Focusing Preview. So there will be an artifact. That's kind of something, maybe. I'm assuming I should not do that. Before we dig in, we wanted to take a moment to thank you. Seeing your reactions has been really moving to us. Frankly, we wouldn't be here without you. And the way you continue to show up for this world means more than we can fully put into words. Every memory and every moment you've shared with us over the years has fueled our future. Every ounce of our June update is for you, and we hope you feel it as you continue to read through our insight articles and upcoming twids, let alone when you're playing the update with us on June 9th. Yeah, it's a bit sappy and sentimental, but that's how we're feeling while reading all your stories over the last week. We hope to keep building worlds to inspire friendship for years to come, and truly couldn't do it without you and your voices. Again, thank you for being here and sticking with us. All right, let's get to the goods. Dev Insight number 2 starts now. All right. Greetings, Guardians. We are here today to share the man. It sounded like he was gonna. We're not here to bury Caesar, or we're not here to praise Caesar, but to bury him. We are here today to share the many balance changes and updates that the Destiny 2 dev team has been working on for the moment. Our monument. I keep doing that. Monument of Triumph update coming June 9th. It's a long article, so here's a list of the main topics you'll find in it. The new weapon tier upgrading system, tier upgrading for crafted weapons, buffs to many exotics like Anarchy, the Lament, and Vex Mythoclast, including new catalysts and improvements for previous ones, balance update to most legendary weapon types, including an overall buff to primary weapon damage in PvE, which is desperately needed, targeted buffs to most special weapons for PvE. Excellent. Many legendary perk fixes and buffs. Cool. A preview of the very customizable Artifact 2.0, including new ways to counter champions. I like the sound of that. Saving your choices in loadouts. Yes, that's something I've been wanting for a while now, and I'm really glad we're getting it. Updates to vendors, weapons focusing, and gear attunement. All right. Introducing weapon tier upgrading. Hi there, Guardians. This is the Sandbox team here to talk about weapon tier upgrading, a new system releasing with Monument of Triumph that will allow players to upgrade their weapons gear tier for a cost to access additional enhanced perks and even the gear tier 5 cosmetics. I care less about the cosmetics, but that's just me with weapons. I'm a total fashionista when it comes to Destiny or really any game, but the weapons I less care about a little less. We wanted players to still feel as though lower tier drops can have value, especially if you spike into the exact role you want, with a want for higher tier gear to have an easier time getting that perfect role due to multi perk. All weapons integrated into the gear tiering system will be eligible to undergo tier upgrading, including those that have already dropped and are resting within your vault. In the weapon inspection screen, there will be a new weapon mod socket where you can apply a mod for a cost that will upgrade your weapon to the next applicable gear tier. While this new upgrading path allows a player to unlock all of the enhanced perk benefits of tier 5 gear, as well as access, man. Yeah, it's a little early, guys, but I'm trying here. Access the unique tier 5 cosmetics. It can add perks to the columns of your weapons, meaning if you haven't quite found your god roll, or you prefer a weapon with additional options in its column, you may still want to chase those multi-perk drops. To add a bit more value to gear tier 3 in lieu of being mainly about unlocking multi-perk today, we've shifted the unlock of enhanced mods to this gear tier for all weapons. Ooh. Below is an example of the mod players will see at gear tier 1. that, upon application by the player for a cost, will upgrade their left and right traits to enhanced traits. Let's go ahead. There we go. Okay. So an ascendant alloy and 3 enhancement prisms and some glimmer. Okay. Yeah, that's perfectly okay. The final upgrade from tier 4 to 5 will therefore have unlocked all enhanced perks, enhanced mods, enhanced barrels, mags, the masterwork stat boost when fully masterworked, and the combat flare ornament combo. That's cool. I like that. And there we go. Oh, wait a second. That's a tier 5, but without multi perk stuff, I guess. Okay, I don't understand. Perhaps I read that wrong and I'm just misunderstanding. Okay, exotic weapon catalyst. With Moment of Triumph being the final release for Destiny 2, we didn't want to leave any exotic behind when it came to catalysts. We also handpicked existing legendary perks that thematically tie into each exotic weapon's story or strength. We want to keep most of these nice surprises for you once the update hits, but here's a sneak preview of a handful of these: Chaperone, Triple Tap, Parasite, Envious Arsenal, and Terabah, Ambitious Assassin. Those all sound good. Additionally, we also added perks to all the oldest catalysts that only gave stat boosts to bring them up into the same tier as more recent weapons. Here are two examples: Crimson, To the Pain, Merciless, Heel Clip. Heel Clip is one of my favorite perks. In total, we have added 25 catalysts to weapons that did not have one already. Wow. 9 perks added to existing catalysts that had only had weapon stats as a bonus. That's awesome. Rapid landing, 3 precision hits will return 1 round to the magazine, and that's pretty strong for us. Oh yeah, that's nice. Parasite damage all their weapons. Yeah. All right. So, oh, and here's the Terabah. Yep. That's gonna be that's gonna be strong. That's awesome. All right. We hope these help breathe some life into some new options for your arsenal, enhancing weapon crafting. With Monument of Triumph update adding new armor set bonuses to earn in our raid and destination content, we wanted those weapons to feel relevant again, but not necessarily ask players to regrind them under gear tiering. We know players have already put forth a lot of effort to unlock patterns throughout the game, so we wanted to treat them with some updates while giving players additional reasons to finish up their patterns if they haven't yet. Hey, Bungie, I still need that one pattern for that Solar Glaive, Nezrak's Whisper, I think it is, from Seasonal Plunder. Can I get that, please? Because I was told like a year ago or so that things like that would be coming to Xur, and I still haven't seen it. We know players have already read that part. We're right here. As we investigated options, we concluded that we could update all crafted weapons to the power of gear tiering, but through a slightly different method involving the crafting table. I like the sound of that. Upon logging in, any legendary crafted weapon that already exists will immediately be eligible for a version of gear tier upgrading, and any newly crafted. Oh, shiza. Okay, I lost my spot. Give me a second here. There we go. Uh, Upon logging in, any legendary crafted weapon that already exists will immediately be eligible for a version of gear tier upgrading, and any newly crafted legendary weapon can be taken on the same upgrading journey. In the inspection screen of a crafted weapon, navigating to the weapon level boost icon, there will be a new mod that will allow you to also improve the tier of the weapon upon reaching specific weapon levels. So, let's zoom in on this real quick. Fatebringer, hand cannon, gear, tier 2. Okay, I see where they're going with this. Okay, I dig it. It means all those old weapons are still kind of relevant. On a crafted weapon, gear tier will act a bit differently than other weapons, as it won't immediately provide the gear tier benefits. At Gear Tier 3, players will unlock enhanced weapon mods, and at Gear Tier 5, it will unlock cosmetics, just like any other weapon in the Gear Tier system. However, for all other tiers, cor- it will correspond with the unlocking of enhanced components at the crafting table. When you reach level 11, you can upgrade to Tier 2, and just like with a fresh tiered weapon drop, you'll gain access to enhanced left and right column traits. At weapon level 25, you can upgrade to tier 4 and add enhanced components like barrels or magazines. At level 30, you'll upgrade to tier 5 and add enhanced origin traits. Origins will behave a bit differently than most perks in the crafting table as well. The menu will showcase all available origin traits, and the selection of any enhanced perk to insert will reflect in the entire column being enhanced upon selecting reshape. The same is true vice versa. If you wish to return to base traits, selection of any base trait for the origin column will still allow the other options to be available after reshaping. So, Fatebringer's getting intrinsic anti-barrier. I like that. Because the sandbox has evolved and changed since some of these destination and raid weapons entered crafting. We've also updated them to have some additional new trait options. 2 new traits per column. Clever Eyes will note that Supercharged Magazine and Jolting Feedback have been added to Oversoul Edict above. Other non-raid destinations crafted weapons won't have new perks, but they are receiving enhanced origin traits for the first time. We did revisit a few of those underperforming origins, including Head Rush, which now activates on a slide and provides a small boost to damage against Hive opponents. We also haven't forgotten about Raid Adept weapons, and they will gain all the same benefits. These weapons will still gain additional traits based on the number of patterns collected from their non-adept counterparts and are eligible to swap out their components like barrels, mags at the crafting relic. They'll also continue to upgrade their traits via the original enhancement feature. With Monument of Triumph, however, these raid adepts will gain access to the tier upgrade mod like crafted weapons and can visit the relic to upgrade to enhanced components and enhanced origins. That's cool. These weapons will also still retain a bit of extra stat boost on top of their non-adept counterparts and their unique adept shader to add a bit of prestige for those who have gone through the challenge of acquiring them. Weapon sandbox updates. Ammo system changes. The ammo system has received buffs to underperforming weapons, nerfs to outliers, and several bug fixes and quality of life improvements. General. We have modified the ammo system so that if any enemy is floating above a pit, they will not drop an ammo brick when they're defeated, even if it fills the meter. You will continue to gain ammo meter progress, but your next kill on an enemy that is not above a pit will spawn the owed ammo brick instead. That's a nice little quality of life change. I can't tell you how many ammo bricks I've lost over the years. Special ammo weapons. We took a baseline swing at making double special slightly less viable for ad clear. Outside of that role, this change is generally offset by the damage buffs previously given to non-rocket pulse special ammo weapons. So while it may require one more kill to earn a brick, it may also require less shots overall to kill targets. So they're not saying they're nerfing double special, I hope. Reduce the amount of meter progress special ammo weapons gained from defeats against minor enemies by 17% at 100 ammo gen stat. Yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like. They're nerfing double special a little. Linear fusion rifles. Both special ammo and heavy ammo precision linear fusion rifles felt like they were not getting enough ammo per brick. So we've increased the ammo amount for each. Heavy ammo precision LFRs base increased from 3 to 5. Enhanced increased from 4 to 6. Special ammo precision LFRs base increased from 3 to 5. Thank you, Chew. Yeah. Enhanced increased from 6 to 10. Buried bloodline. Correcting an issue where buried bloodline was not correctly getting additional ammo from enhanced ammo bricks. Choir of One. Choir of One is simply too free in terms of ammo, both in isolation and double specials builds. It is one of the only special weapons that didn't follow the standard rules for ammo brick values. These changes make this weapon follow these rules. Base reduced from 45 to 35. I don't like that. Enhanced reduced from 90 to 70. I don't like that either. Bungie nerfs are not ever like good, man. Like, especially at the end times, shouldn't be taking ammo away. But that's a nitpick, I guess. A bug, rocket pulse rifles. A bug was causing rocket pulses to have double the ammo when used with another special ammo weapon. For example, running 2 rocket pulses at the same time was entirely viable because they both got full ammo brick amounts instead of half. This has the effect of reducing the challenge of endgame content and invalidating other special weapons. Fixed an issue that was sometimes causing rocket pulses to only earn 2 shots per base brick. Fixed an issue where Eternia was not correctly having its ammo per brick increased by scavenger mods. Fixed an issue where legendary rocket pulses were not correctly having their ammo brick split when used with a second special weapon. Only in the Crucible. Some Crucible specific changes were needed to reduce special ammo uptime that was fueled by non-primary weapon use. Reduce the point gains from special ammo and heavy ammo kills and assists and super kills by 33%. Reduce glaive melee gains by 20%. Adaptive burst LFRs get too much ammo. Just a second here. And one last thing, because I didn't do this at the beginning, because, yeah, I don't know reasons. All right, let's go with that. Only increasable some special ammo uptime, not non-program. Reduce the point gains from special ammo and heavy ammo kills and assists and super kills by 33%. Reduced glaive melee gains by 20%. Don't ever, like, nerf my glaive, man. But that's all right. Adaptive burst LFRs get too much ammo from heavy crates for how potent they are compared to other options. Reduced adaptive burst LFR ammo from crates from 5 to 3. Rapid fire machine guns felt like they weren't getting enough ammo from crates, so we have increased this value. Increased rapid fire LMG ammo from crates from a maximum of 45 to a maximum of 62 based on magazine size. Other LMGs remain capped at 22. Bitter End's ammo from crates has been reduced to fit within this scale. Exotic weapon tuning. With Monument of Triumph, we are also having a wide assortment of exotic weapon adjustments for you to enjoy. Have a look at what we changed here, the Jade Rabbit. The Jade Rabbit has long been a choice pick in PvP on specific builds and specific maps, but has seen little play elsewhere. We've made some rather significant adjustments to help its gameplay feel a bit less clunky and give it some more life in PvE activities. Increase the magazine size from 10 to 15. That's nice. Removed Zen Moment, added Shoot to Loot and Firefly as the two Wow, okay. Fate of All Fools, increase the maximum stack cap to 15. In addition to chaining precision hits, precision kills now add a stack. Gaining of a stack now refills the magazine, increases stability. Stacks will no longer be completely removed when you reload. Dealing direct body shot damage will still remove one stack. Scales at the damage of Firefly when it is active. And dealing splash damage will not Zippo stay. Will not remove a stack of the perk Catalyst. In addition to adding stability, good boy. In addition to adding stability, Special Reload will consume all stacks of Fate of All Fools and grant singular micro missile round, which does bonus damage based on the number of stacks consumed. So let's take a quick peek at that. And it's getting unstoppable. That's very cool. Look at all that stability. I dig it. I might actually start using this thing now. Okay. Vex Mythoclast. As the sandbox evolved, Vex Mythoclast felt like it lagged behind other raid weapons in terms of strength in PvE. We wanted to give the linear fusion shots something extra to help them feel worth the kill requirements to charge them. And we updated the intrinsic and catalyst to help make acquiring those kills a little easier. Timeless Mythoclast Intrinsic now has what it is comparably a more potent version of rewind rounds while in full auto mode. That's cool. Templar Unlimiter trait. Precision kills with linear fusion rifle shots now trigger an ignition. Nice. After leaving linear fusion rifle mode, the magazine is now fully reloaded. Nice. The HUD buff and magazine display have been tweaked to show the exact amount of linear fusion shots remaining. This is a purely visual change. Functionality remains the same. Calculated balance catalyst. Sustained damage can now also activate the catalyst in addition to kills. Added a HUD buff. All right, so yeah, still got the intrinsic anti-barrier, it looks like. Cool. 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 Touch of Malice. Despite multiple previous changes, Touch of Malice has not lived up to its Destiny 1 glory days. We've made a few changes baseline and to its catalyst that will help it build into a potent exotic primary weapon through skilled play and build crafting. Increased final round bonus damage by 10%. Set it up so that special reload can be made faster by buffing reload speed. Replaced rapid hit in the catalyst with precision instrument. Gained increased stability and reload speed with each stack of charged with blight. The last word, much like many of our text weapons, the last word sits on a razor's edge between being extremely potent on a single input type or feeling tough to get value out of. This update makes it feel more viable on MNK, mouse and keyboard, without totally tipping those power scales. Increased stability on MNK by 10%. Increased aim assist when hip firing on MNK by 10%. MIDA multi-tool. In PvE content, we wanted MIDA to further lean into building up modifications over the course of an activity. While we're happy with how this landed, we wanted to lower how many kills are required to reach that final modification. We adjusted the catalyst by a small amount to give it more utility in more situations. Lowered the PvE combatant kill requirement from 10 kills per modification, 15 with macro tool, to 7 kills per modification, 10 with macro tool. This lowers the total kill requirement from 40 or 60 respectively to 27 and 40 respectively to acquire all modifications. The catalyst's improved radar resolution now remains active for a few seconds when you stow multi-tool instead of immediately deactivating. Multi-tool still needs to be in your hands for the catalyst to activate. Heirloom. Heirloom can be a potent option if you've opted into its particular flavor of playstyle on its initial release. But it both did not feel worth the effort and did not live up to players' expectations of being a dungeon exotic weapon. We've made a number of adjustments here to help it flow a bit better, as well as hit even harder versus high priority targets. Increased charge rate by 20%. Increased impact damage of charged shots by 20% in PvE only. Reduced extra heat generated by charged shots by 7%. Increased damage versus mini bosses and champion targets by 20%. Increased damage versus boss targets by 10%. Added incandescent perk to Catalyst. Wow. Teraba. Terabine. Teraba. It felt odd for Teraba not to reward you at all for defeats. So we have remedied that while also building more tie-ins into the solar kit to let you get to the Ravenous Beast mode more often. Dealing damage to scorched combatants grants increased Ravenous Beast progress by 33%. Can generate full meter if all the mag hits a scorched enemy. Kills grant greatly increased progress, 10% per kill. Anarchy. Once Finality's Augur was released, Anarchy felt like it no longer, had a place as a point defense trap system. So we are amping up its traps capabilities with more competitive versus Finality's Augur. To be, there we go. Increased arm trap lifetime by 50% from 10 to 15 seconds. Increased trap damage versus combatants by 30%. Double trap detonation damage versus combatants to better doubled trap detonation damage versus combatants to better match the per tick damage of a trap. Replaced moving target with impromptu ammunition. Divinity. After all this time, we felt it was fair to bring Divinity back up at least a little bit so that the dedicated Divinity user in your group didn't feel like they were wielding a sluggish gun and missing out on some damage. Increased damage of penance by 20%. Reduced time to activate penance from 4 to 3 seconds. Reduce shots to activate the cage from 14 to 10. Winter Bite. I love the Winter Bite. Winter Bite. Winter Bite is an extremely solid workhorse glaive, but it feels overly punishing to shoot the projectile while in CQC. Reduced self-damage of the projectile by 2/3, 66%. Excellent. Edge of action, concurrence, and intent. The class glaives should feel like the apex power for an exotic version of a legendary glaive. So we're upping their charge rates of the special shots when you are fully engaged in the glaive loop. Rev up them doomsticks. Glaive projectiles now grant doubled progress towards special shot. Love that. Hierarchy of needs. We updated Hierarchy of Needs to make its seekers more interactive and build friendly, helping them better follow your precision shots through the guidance ring. Apply Scorch for build crafting synergy and feel more reliable at mid-range thanks to improved hipfire accuracy. Seekers now apply +15, +5 with Ember of Ashes, Scorch to hit targets. Wow, that was awkwardly worded or spoken, one of the two. Added hidden tracking for Seekers that guides them to targets recently hit by precision damage. Added increased hipfire accuracy to the list of benefits provided by the Catalyst. Sunshot and Graviton Lance. Wow, okay. Both Sunshot and Graviton Lance have been very easy to use while also having a high impact on gameplay for a long time now, and we love them for that reason. That's me speaking. And they tend to crowd out many other similar options in the sandbox. We made a few changes to both to make them a bit less able to wipe entire encounters with one kill, while retaining their power on clumped groups. Rebalance the damage of the explosion to deal more damage up close and less damage further away. Outbreak perfected. There's a ton of love for Outbreak, especially with it being a primary weapon that can hang with our special and heavies in endgame. In Monuments of Triumph, we are building our primaries across the board, and because of that, we are buffing our primaries across the board, and because of that, there was a need to reduce the delta between other strong primaries and Outbreak. Reduced damage bonus at maximum nanite stacks from 4.5 to 4. It's a minor tweak-ish, but still, don't like nerfs, especially at the end. I don't like nerfs. With anti-champ rolling out across all weapons in the game. What? With anti-champ rolling out across all weapons in the game, Arbalest was struggling more than ever for us during testing. So we are spot tuning that damage up a fair bit. Increased damage versus champions by 33%. Nice. Wardcliff Coil. Wardcliff Coil will be getting a couple of bug fixes and a sorely needed max ammo increase. Yes. Fixed a bug where firing Wardcliff Coil could not grant bolt charge if the firing player was too far off the ground. Mechanized autoloader now works while the weapon is stowed, and increased maximum ammo from 5 to 8. The Lament. The game has changed a lot since the Lament received its last nerf. To account for that, we are reverting most of that last change to help it keep pace at its potent single target option. Reverted the previous nerf to this weapon by about 70%. Returned most of the final combo hit damage and self-healing the previous change reduced. Excellent. Truth. Truth has long struggled to have any kind of strong identity in D2. We all have fond memories of wild tracking shots with it from D1. True. But the weapon struggles to keep up in today's sandbox. Also true. We've made some changes that let it lean into its 3 in the mag and gives it a splashy secondary effect if you land all your rockets. Now returns 1 ammo to reserves and buffs the next magazine when all rounds in a magazine hit a target. When triggered, the next magazine gains dramatically increased rate of fire, stability, tracking strength, and cluster bombs. Thunderlord. I'm telling you, I've loved this since they introduced it in D1. It is a staple. It never, ever leaves my loadout. We're making a small adjustment to Thunderlord to put it more in line with other similar DPS options. Reduced ammo refunded by Lightning Strike from 7 to 5 at base. I don't like that. Leave it where it was. Whirling Ovation. Whirling needs a little help to stay competitive with weapons that aren't rocket pulses. This update should help it feel snappy with an optimized damage rotation with a variety of weapon types. A little aside. Weapon or damage power creep is not going to be a thing if there's not going to be more updates. Don't nerf things. But I digress. Whirling Ovation. Whirling needs a little help to stay competitive with weapons that aren't rocket pulses. This update should help it feel snappy with optimized damage rotation and a variety of weapon types. Increase the amount of anticipation gained per point of damage by just over 11%. Prometheus Lens. I love the Prometheus Lens. I think it could use a little buff. Prometheus Lens got its Scorch effect in a very different Destiny 2 sandbox, so we're giving it a bit of love to be able to keep up against other similar weapons. Increased Scorch stacks applied per trigger, up to 20 plus 10 with Ember of Ashes, from 10 plus 10 with Ember of Ashes. Centrifuge. Centrifuge's sprint reload effect felt just a touch too slow to use as the main way you reload the weapon, so we're making it a bit easier to rely on and subsequently keep its perk at full potency. Increase the amount of magazine refilled per trigger to 10% from 4%. Okay, that's nice. Slayer's Fang. Slayer's Fang was a potent option when it first released, but has since fallen behind some more versatile options. We're giving it a few changes that allow you to be a bit more liberal with its usage, as well as bringing back a bit of an effect it used to have prior to its release. Increased magazine size by 2, okay. Increased reserve ammo by 10, okay. Now slowly reloads itself while its buff is active. Very cool. Xenophage. Once a terror of Gambit and PvE alike, Xenophage definitely has a hard time in today's sandbox. We're giving it a bit more total ammo to help it keep up with similar options and be a bit less strict on its economy. Increased reserve ammo by 10. Legendary sandbox tuning. Primary ammo weapons have struggled to keep up against combatants, especially in harder activities, so we've improved some broad changes or implemented some broad changes to help them feel better to use. Legendary primary ammo weapons increase damage versus minor combatants by 30%. Good job. Exotic primary weapons increased bonus damage versus minor combatants from 30 to 40%. Non-blaster primary weapons increase damage versus major combatants by 15%. Blaster primary weapons increased bonus damage versus major combatants from 15 to 20%. Some special ammo weapons have dominated the sandbox while others have felt left behind. We are making a targeted buff to all the left behind special ammo weapons to balance them out and make more archetypes viable to use in PvE. Special ammo weapons increased damage versus major combatants by 20%. Excludes sniper rifles, rocket pulses, rocket sidearms, swords, and Choir of One. On top of the above changes, these specific primary ammo archetypes got some additional balance tuning. Oh, here we go. I love my auto rifles. Auto rifles, high impact, moved RPM from 360 to 400. Reduced ADS damage fall off scalar from 1.7 to 1.6. Reduced base damage from 24 to 22. This includes Vex Mythoclast and Cirrus Regime with dual speed receiver, but excludes Cerebus +1 and Sweet Business in its non-spun up state. Adaptive. Increased base damage from 15 to 15.5. Increased critical hit damage from 26.25 to 27.1. Pulse rifles. I do love a good pulse rifle. Lightweight. Reduced base damage from 19.7 to 18.1. Reduced base damage from 19.7 to 18.8. Correction. Reduced base damage from 19.7 to 18.8. Reduced critical hit damage from 31.5 to 30.1. Legacy frames. Since these weapons inherit the damage change from lightweight pulse rifles, we are reverting their nerf to ADS damage fall off scalar. Increased ADS damage fall off scalar from 1.6 back to 1.7. High impact. Reverted previous nerf to ADS damage fall off scalar, increasing it from 1.6 back to 1.7. Scout rifles. I love a good scout rifle. Scout rifles, rapid fire. Reduced base damage from 28 to 27.3. Reduced critical hit damage from 54.6 to 53.25. I do not like that, especially when primary ammo weapons are kind of lagging behind a little bit. That just seems needless to me. Hand cannons, aggressive, reduced base damage from 49 to 48.7, reduced critical hit damage from 90.65 to 90.1. Bows, increased damage versus minor combatants by an additional 20%. Increased damage versus major combatants by an additional 40%. That seems like a good change. Okay. Also, on top of the above changes, many special ammo weapon archetypes also got some buffs along with some nerfs to one particular archetype that won't be too surprising to see. Rocket sidearms increased projectile explosion radius by 33%. I love that. Fusion rifles, rapid fire, increased PvE damage scalar by 7%. Adaptive, increased PvE damage scalar by 10%. Precision, increased PvE damage scalar by 20%. High impact, increased PvE damage scalar by 15%. Shotguns. Rapid fire, increased PvE damage scalar by 10%. Pinpoint, increased PvE damage scalar by 5%. Heavy burst, increased PvE damage scalar by 10%. Snipers, aggressive, increased PvE damage scalar by 15%. Adaptive, increased PvE damage scalar by 10%. Glaives, I ran a Nightfall once with 3 glaives. I love glaives. Rapid fire, increased PvE damage scalar by 10%. Trace rifles, trace increased damage versus minor combatants by an additional 20%. Increased damage versus major combatants by an additional 20%. Exotic trace rifles, increased bonus damage versus minor combatants from 30 to 40%. Rocket pulses, reduced ammo generation stat of legendary micromissile pulse rifles by 15. Increased PvE damage by 10%. Ooh, I like that one. Decreased damage. Oh no, it was decreased PvE damage by 10%. I don't like that one. Decreased damage versus bosses by 25%. And this is on top of the above 10%. I don't like that either. Reduced projectile explosion radius by 25%. I don't like that either. Reduced super generation by 25% for roamers and 33% for standard supers. Finally, heavy ammo weapons got some attention to make them more effective against bosses and champions, along with some targeted ammo tuning. Heavy grenade launchers increase damage versus bosses and champions by 5%. Rocket launchers increase damage versus bosses and champs by 5%. Crossbows increase damage versus bosses and champs by 10%. I think they needed that. I still don't like to use them, though. Maybe that'll change. Linear fusion rifles increased the damage of all legendary LFRs versus bosses and champions by 10%. Precision increased PvE damage scalar by 10%. Increased ammo reserves by about 30%, excluding sleeper simulant. Machine guns increased bitter ends reserve ammo. Swords decreased the cost of vortex frame heavy attack from 6 to 4 ammo to match other heavy swords. I like that change. That's a good change. It makes my fallen guillotine a little bit more viable. In addition to the legendary weapon archetype tuning, we've also made some changes to legendary weapon perks. A few older damage perks felt like they were lagging behind, so we've buffed these perks in order to make them more competitive choices compared with more modern perks. So we'll start with Focused Fury. Damage bonus increased from 20 to 25%. Hits required to activate decreased from 50% of the magazine to 35% of the magazine. Full court, maximum explosive damage bonus increased from 25 to 35%. Lasting impression, explosive damage bonus increased from 25 to 35%. Pardon me. Reservoir burst. Damage bonus increased from 25%, 27.5 enhanced, to 30%, 33% enhanced. Gut shot straight. Reduce the aim assist penalty by 20% on the base perk and 25% on the enhanced perk. Fix an issue where this perk did not work on bitter end. Adagio. Reduced the damage bonus on hand cannons from 30 to 27%. Increased the damage on shotguns and bows from 20 to 30%. The following perks received some quality of life tuning to make them easier to activate on their own or with other build crafting elements. Collective Action, Collective Pugilism, Cooling Baubles, Elemental Charge, and Facet of Honor. Now all share the same Tangle activator. Destroy Tangle either by shooting it or upon impact after throwing it. Previously, this activator differed depending on the perk and would either activate when shooting a Tangle, picking up a Tangle, throwing a Tangle, or a combination of these despite sharing the same terminology in their strings. In addition to this activator, Collective Action and Collective Pugilism also grant additional time to their durations upon throwing a Tangle. This unique behavior is called out in their descriptions. Artifact Elemental Orbs are now officially considered Elemental Pickups. For the sake of these perks, and grant the same benefits as Tangles. As such, we fixed an issue where the artifact Arc Orbs would give Dark Transcendence energy with Facet of Honor. They now give Light Transcendence energy. Collective Action. Fire Sprites, Void Breaches, 8 seconds. Ionic Traces, Stasis Shards, 4 seconds. Tangle Detonations, 4 seconds. Tangle Throw, 4 seconds. Instead of a flat 7 seconds, elemental pickups now provide differing amounts of time to the perk duration depending on how easy they are to create. These values match Collective Pugilism. To compensate for the lower duration gained from some elemental pickups, the damage bonus against PvE combatants has been increased from 20 to 30%. The damage bonus against players remains at 10%. The enhanced benefit no longer provides more time per pickup, but instead increases the damage bonus to 33% against PvE combatants and 11% against players. Increased max time from 12 to 16 seconds. All-Star. Damage timer is paused on Weapon Stow and resumed on Weapon Equip. Desperado. In addition to its current activator of reloading after a precision kill, Desperado can now also activate when reloading after 3 rapid kills. Frenzy. Fixed an issue where the enhanced version of Frenzy was not getting an extended duration when refreshed compared to standard Frenzy. Also fixed an issue where Frenzy being inactive could prevent the Crucible Origin perk from activating. Jolting Feedback. Reduce shots to activate the perk by about 1 to 2 for scout rifles and hand cannons. I like that. Encore. Encore's HUD buff now displays a timer. Envious Assassin. Fixed an issue where the perk was not working on some single-shot weapons. Cascade Point. Since we've removed the ready HUD buff when the weapon is stowed, we have simplified the activation criteria for dealing precision damage with other weapons. Auto rifles, pulse rifles, SMGs, trace rifles, sidearms, and LMGs, 6 critical hits. Hand cannons, scout rifles, 4 critical hits. Bows, LFRs, glaive projectiles, shotguns, and sniper rifles, 2 critical hits. Pardon me. Attrition Orbs. Now activates in 4 hits on wave frame grenade launchers, down from 10. Now activates in 3 hits on rocket launchers, down from 6. Contending Cascade. The number of rapid final blows needed for max benefits has been reduced from 15, 12 if enhanced, to 12, 10 if enhanced. Stat benefits are now maxed out when the elemental explosions are granted instead of scaling with up to 20 rapid final blows. Full choke. Pellet spread is now reduced by 5% instead of 3.25. Shot package intrinsic. Now reduced pellet spread by 2.5% when ADS. Finally, some origin trait weaknesses were addressed to make them feel more impactful. Advanced reflexes, Dreaming City origin trait. New effect, plus 5% damage while active, plus 5% bonus damage while active. Increased bonus handling from plus 30 to plus 40. Increased bonus charge rate for swords from 20 to plus 35. Plus 20 to 20, plus 35. Gun and Run, Gambit origin trait. Man, I am having difficulties all of a sudden. Reworked effect. Defeating targets builds stack of gun and run for a short duration. Sprinting for a short time consumes a stack to partially reload this weapon's magazine from reserves. On bows, this briefly improves draw speed. Nanotech Tracers Missiles. New unit design or destination origin trait. Reduce the amount of hits needed for Basso Astencio to activate nanotech tracer missiles by roughly 1. Ooh. Artifacts and anti-champion. Pardon me. Artifacts 2.0. With Monument of Triumph, we are reworking the artifact items in multiple ways to better align with a modern Destiny 2 and setting it up to withstand the test of time. This means streamlining the mod selection process, removing annoyances like the refunding dance, disabling the artifact in competitive and trials modes, and finally working in loadouts. That is a huge QOL. Are we getting more loadouts? Oh, look at that. I love it. You know, oh no. Yeah. That's cool. That's very cool. Okay. What this means is that we have trimmed the bloat on artifacts. Gone are the days of dedicated anti champion columns and needing to refund mods to select ones in earlier columns. This process has been simplified into 3 buckets that fundamentally or functionally perform just like the columns did before, but in a way that uses the visual language of our modern game and works in a more intuitive way. Now, when you want to switch out a mod in column 4, you can just do that and substitute it out for whatever fits instead of needing to clear out later columns to be allowed to respec earlier ones. On top of this, we have built anti-champion capabilities directly into your guns, so you no longer must worry about your favorite guns not getting anti-champion offerings in a season, but more on that in a moment. Oh my gosh, you don't know how much I stressed over the next season, what we were going to be getting in the champion slots over the years. It's like, oh, please let, anti-barrier be like a an auto rifle or something, make glaives unstoppable or something. Anyway, on top of this, we have built anti-champion capabilities directly into your guns. Getting a champion, but more on that in a moment. Okay, so this is the encrypted data disk. Okay. Oh, wow. So we're cool. We're getting to keep a lot of these cool perks. It looks like, lightsabers are going to be here for a while. I like that. Yeah, that's good stuff. Oh, I like that a lot. All right, let's move. Oh, no, don't do that. Okay, here we go. Alongside all these updates also come 6 new mods, defragmented and deciphered from the data disk and into your hands. Tier 1, Fierce Proxemics, Finisher, Final Blows, Grenade, and Melee Energy. I like that. Rapid Remedy, Machine Gun and Rapid Final Blows heal you. Yes! I like that. Tier 2, Blinding Jolts. Final Blows on jolted combatants blind nearby combatants. I love that one. Precision Equity. Precision Final Blows build progress towards a large orb of power that also grants bonus weapon damage on pickup. Wow. Higher ranked targets grant more progress. I love that. Tier 3, laser tag. Arc powered melee hits jolt combatants and deal further damage for a short duration. Sticker shock. Arc flux, magnetic, and fusion grenades deal more damage when attached to combatants. On final blows, they release several micro missiles that seek nearby combatants. Wow. But wait, there's more. For eagle eyed readers, you might have noticed that we keep referring to artifacts in the plural, and it's for good reason. Artifacts for the past 6 years have served. Oh, okay. Served to shift around the meta season over season, encouraging you to try new things and by giving some borrowed power. This model doesn't really work without seasons. So we are breaking the bank and not just offering one artifact, but a whopping 7 artifacts pulled from seasons past. That is awesome. Look at that. Dude, I've so many artifacts. I checked just the other day. I went to the collections. I've got so many artifacts. Okay. Destiny, what are you doing to me? These selections were all made to cover as many fan favorite weapons, elements, and perks as possible, and we believe we will give you a treasure trove of build crafting opportunities for years to come. Yes. They won't be coming back perfectly identical, though. In the past 6 years, the artifact has shifted quite a bit. From the days of glimmer mods to anti champion abilities taking up a large swath of these slots to the seventh row structure and finally to boosts. We took a long look at each of these artifacts and did not only a balance pass to make sure they could live on in perpetuity, looking at you, Flashover, but also how we could integrate the best. Thank you, Chewy. But also how we could integrate the best of all versions of the artifacts to be available in a single build crafting ecosystem. Oh, wow. Works best with solar stasis, strand weapons, rocket launchers, grenade launchers. Wow. Okay. We look forward to seeing what you all build and how you combine these with the incredibly deep pool of new set bonuses and weapons. I love that so much. Okay. The wheel on my trackball is going out. I need a new one. Anti Champion 2.0. With the removal of the first 2 columns of each artifact, we needed to find a new home for all our champion counter effects. Given the nature of this final release, we've decided to roll across to these effects. We decided to roll access to these effects into the intrinsic perks of every weapon in the game. Yes, every weapon, even exotics. We also made the decision. Oh my God, I can't believe they did that. I've been saying that every exotic should have an intrinsic for so long. We also made the decision to remove any activation criteria to all these effects, no matter which you are using. Simply firing the weapon will apply the associated effect immediately, assuming you land your shot. So no more holding my ADS on my hand cannon on an unstoppable until you see the buff activate. That's sick. I love that. Okay. Here's the list of which intrinsic frames got what effect. Weapon type and effect. Aggressive, unstoppable. High impact, unstoppable. Precision, barrier. Adaptive, barrier. Lightweight, overload. Rapid fire, overload. I love this change. This covers most of the weapons in the game. Here are what more niche intrinsic frames received. Weapon archetype, weapon type, and effect. Weapon archetype support, weapon type AR, effect, overload. Adaptive burst, linear fusion rifle, barrier. Aerial denial, breach grenade launcher, Overload. Double fire. Breach grenade launcher. Unstoppable. Micro missile. Breach grenade launcher. Unstoppable. Wave. Breach grenade launcher. Unstoppable. Compressed wave. Drum GL. Unstoppable. Heavy burst. Pulse. Wait, hold on. I missed some. Heavy burst. Hand cannon. Unstoppable. Spread shot. Hand cannon. Overload. Aggressive burst. SMG. Unstoppable. Aggressive burst. Pulse. Unstoppable. Heavy burst. Pulse. Unstoppable. Legacy PR-55 frame. Pulse. Barrier. Rocket assisted. Pulse. Unstoppable. Rocket assisted sidearm. Unstoppable. Disruption. Sniper rifle. Barrier. Caster. Sword. Barrier. That's awesome. Vortex. Honestly, with the build I've been using on my Warlock, I was mostly concerned with anti-barrier. I don't really like to run Needle Storm or whatever that melee is. Oh, that's so nice. So, Caster Sword Barrier, Vortex Sword Overload, Wave Sword Unstoppable, Dynamic Heat Weapons, Various Overload, Balanced Heat Weapons, Various Overload. So it sounds like blasters are just going to be intrinsically overload, and I'm here for it. Exotic weapons each got the effect that most reflected how the exotic itself behaved. Here are a few interesting examples, but we'll let you all discover the rest once Monument of Triumph releases. Borrow Dyad, Overload, Izanagi's Burden, Barrier. Trinity Ghoul, Overload. That makes sense. Xenophage, Unstoppable. Parasite Barrier, and Jotun, Unstoppable. That's awesome. That's all for us here on the artifacts. And the sandbox is going to be shifting drastically in Monument of Triumph, and we look forward to seeing the powerful builds y'all put together using both old and new pieces from our Guardian's storied legacy. Vendor updates. Oh, please say you're bringing back bounties. Pardon me. With the release, many of your favorite vendors across the tower are getting an update. Reputation rank reward tracks are returning to many of the vendors. Shax, Zavala, Saint 14, Zur, Banshee 44, even your old pal Drifter. We've also expanded their focusing options significantly, as well as some other vendor specific updates that we'll touch on below. I love that. Please bring the reward tracks back for the destination vendors as well. I would love that. Oh, I would love that. Focused tiered gear. Focusing for tiered gear is now available on many vendors across the tower. This includes newly added gear as well as gear from across the last several releases. For example, the Edge of Fate, Ashen Iron, and Renegades. Weapons will be focusable at Tier 3 and Tier 4, depending on the player's power level. With the addition of upgradable weapons, you can take any rolls you get from focusing and upgrade them to Tier 5, while activities will remain the best and most consistent source of natural Tier 5 weapons. However, because armor is not upgradable, focusable armor will go up to Tier 5. Here's how gear focusing will work on vendors. General. Oh, I biffed it. There we go. Weapons will be focusable at Tier 3 or Tier 4. Tier 3 equals 300 to 399 power. Tier 4 equals 400 plus power. Tiered weapons may be upgradable or upgraded to Tier 5. Armors will be focusable based on power level. Tier 3 is 300 to 399 power. Tier 4 is 400 to 519 power. Tier 5 is 520 plus power. So if you need to get to 520 or plus, now is a good time to grind that out before this drops. I'm already at 550. I wish they would just say, hey, guess what? We're returning the ability of you to use your Festival of the Lost masks I still have mine for my Titan and my Hunter. Unfortunately, during the power grind, I infused my Warlock's mask, and I'm really bummed about that. Updated 801 shader inventory. Added additional shaders. Yes, Year 1 shader pack shaders. 4 unreleased shaders. Alchemy Scorch, Bone Meal Loam, Brine Glow, and Charred Plumage. I love that. I am a fashionista when it comes to Destiny. I love it. Increased number of available shaders per week from 3 to CS. Still randomly rotates through available shaders each week. So from 3 to 6, that's great. I love that. Updated 801's legacy armor to no longer be on a rotation. Expanded selection to all armors for transmog purposes. That's awesome. Updated Threader bounty reset. No longer resets seasonally. Instead, players will earn 1 additional Threader bounty per class per week. New bounties available each week at weekly reset. Maximum number of available Threader bounties per class is 10. That is good. I was just hoping they would just uncap it, but that'll work. Pardon me. Sorry, guys. I'm having a rough one here. Drifter. Gambit reputation rank reward track has been restored. Updated Gambit focusing. Gear additions. Tiered focusing will utilize Gambit engrams. Now includes focusing for all tiered Gambit gear, including new Gambit weapons and armor. Banshee 44, Gunsmith reputation rank reward track has been restored. Dismantling weapons and armors gives gun strength reputation again. I need to drink some water. Hold on, guys. Updated Gunsmith focusing. Now includes shared pool weapons from previous releases. Includes tiered gear from the Edge of Fate, Ashenine, and Renegades. Guys, anyone who's worried about getting their, what's that strand rocket pulse called? I keep forgetting. Well, you can get it, I guess. Hawthorne. Updated clan engrams to give tiered gear. Excellent. Saint 14. Trials of Osiris reputation reward rank track has been restored. Updated trials focusing. Now includes focusing for all tiered trials gear. Gear additions. Includes tiered gear from the Edge of Fate, Ashen Iron, and Renegades. Focusing will utilize trials engrams. Saladin. Only available during Iron Banner. Updated Iron Banner focusing. Now includes focusing for all tiered Iron Banner gear. Gear additions. Includes tiered gear from the Edge of Fate, Ashen Iron, and Renegades. Focusing will utilize Iron Banner ciphers obtained through Iron Banner match completions. Iron Banner will maintain event card and will not see its reputation rank track restored. Okay. Shax. Crucible reputation rank reward track has been restored. Updated Crucible focusing. Now includes focusing for all tiered Crucible and competitive Crucible gear. Gear additions. Includes tiered gear from the Edge of Fate, Ashen Iron, and Renegades. Tiered focusing will utilize Crucible engrams. Competitive Crucible gear will require Crucible ciphers, which can be obtained via competitive Crucible. Xur. Xur's reputation rank has been restored. Purchasing items from Xur grants reputation. Xur's inventory has been updated. New catalysts added to the inventory. Tiered armor. Be nice if he had all the past craftable weapons added to his rotation as well. Zavala. No, don't do that. I'm getting close to the end here, folks. Zavala. Vanguard reputation rank reward track has been restored. Updating Vanguard focusing. Now includes focusing for all tiered solo ops, fireteam ops, arena ops, and pinnacle ops gear. Gear additions. Includes tiered gear from Edge of Fate, Ashen Iron, and Renegades. Tiered focusing will utilize Vanguard engrams. Pinnacle Ops and Arena Ops gear will require Vanguard ciphers, which can be obtained via Pinnacle Ops and Arena Ops activities. Nightfall ciphers that players may have in their inventory will be automatically updated to Vanguard ciphers. Okay. I've still got a few of those. Rewards from Call to Arms are available to pick up from Zavala for those who have earned but not yet received them. Updated the rotation for weekly Vanguard Arms rewards. Destination vendors. Updated gear to be distributed at Tier 3. Attune Anywhere. Attunement now lives in your inventory, accessible anywhere, anytime. No longer will you have to go to a specific vendor to attune what you want to earn from the activities you are playing. With the huge amount of new and updated weapons in this release, we wanted to make it seamless for you and your fire team to have greater agency around farming for those god rolls than ever before. Hanging out in orbit or waiting for friends during a break between SRL races? Take some time to attune your favorite weapons across various activity types. Wow, my consumables are like come down to here. So that's cool. The attunement's going to be right there on. I like that. Attunement exists for the following activities: distortions, world drops, solo ops, fire team ops, arena ops, pinnacle ops, crucible ops, trials of Osiris, Iron Banner, Gambit, Onslaught, and SRL. And yeah, look at that. Oh, zoom. It's not really a good zoom. At any time, players can be attuned to one weapon for each activity type. For example, players can be attuned to Cry Mutiny in solo ops, Nightshade in fireteam ops, and Better Devils in Crucible ops at the same time. I like that. Look at that. Attuning a weapon means that you will have significantly higher drop chances for that weapon from activity rewards and will be available for all of the weapons and activity loot pools for each of the included activity types. Attunement is available for all players with no cost to attune or unattune, with no limits on changing the weapons that you are attuned to. We hope this system helps you find the perfect weapons for your arsenal. That's our Dev Insights article about weapons, the artifact, and how vendors' attunement and focusing will work when the Monument of Triumph update drops on June 9th. We have more to share later today in our TWID, coming in just 2 hours. Stay tuned to find out about what's changing in the Crucible and what new rewards you can get in Pantheon and much more. Guardians, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope you dug the video. If you did, please do the like and subscribe thing. I got to get to work on the weekly Zer video. I'm like 12 minutes behind. It's 10:12 a.m. Pacific time at time of roll right now. Again, thank you so much for watching. Eyes up, Guardians. I'll see you in the next one.